600 feet, and there's Anthony doing touch and goes in his World War II airplane, not talking to nobody, doing 600-foot pad, doing a pad at 600 foot. Is he legal in 1 mile visibility? Yeah. And that's what makes it really exciting for some of the other partners who are in here. But what's the basic? Let's forget. There's like 7 different visibility requirements and crowd requirements for VFR web. But there's a basic VFR minimum that's been used in class echo most of the time. Do we know what that is? You need a certain minimum visibility. You know what the basic VFR visibility is? 3 statute miles. Now, why is it statute miles? Because the regulations were written back when they were doing everything in statute mile before they worked over to nautical mile. And that's just a little confusing. So how far away from the clouds do you guys stay?
2,000.
Right?
It's 500 below.
Okay, you guys stay 500
2,000 feet horizontal.
Yeah, and that always confuses. Why is it only 500 feet below? Because I figure guys are coming down faster than you can climb, but I don't know. But you got to stay. You have to have 3 miles visibility, and you have to stay away from the clouds. We're VFR. We're not allowed to fly in the clouds. VFR, right? Why not?
You don't want to hit them.
Airport, and in fact, this one is well. I guess it's out of date now or something. But I have this on my iPad too. But everything you wanted to know, if you don't violate anything in this book, the FAA will never get mad at you. What's the odds of you never violating anything in this book? Not very high. In fact, at the end of this thing, we'll talk about the NASA form too. But half of this is the regulations, and then the AMI is really cool because that's not regulations, but that's just giving you what the best way, a recommended way of doing it. Okay. And if you go in here, they have all the codes in here, and they tell you what the codes mean. So you can look up all the happy stuff. There's another book. If you're a student pilot and you show up for your flight check, you really ought to have this. I don't know.
The food bar is.
When you talk to the guy, he's going to have a form in front of him. So remember, and this particularly applies to myself. I'm reading it. I can read it relatively quickly. Now, thank God I talk loud enough that he usually doesn't say speak up.
Yeah, I asked Jimmy if he wanted to come stick his head in. He said he could hear it all.
Okay. But remember the guy on the other side of the phone has to write this down. So then we're going to go, okay, what's our route, our route? How are we going?
200.
Well, no, just all he cares about is direct.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
Airport to airport.
If you were going VORs or someplace else, just direct is fine. What's our destination airport?
KCST.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't have to use the K because we're in the U.S., so it's just Charlie. Again, it's Columbus, Georgia, right? Charlie, Sierra Gulf. What altitude are we going to go at? Now, we haven't really, this is where it becomes, if we didn't talk about the mountains, but if we were actually going direct and we had to go over the mountains, but it all depends on the winds, we might go different ways, but let's just assume we're going direct right over the top of the mountains. The mountains are about 6,000 feet, maybe 6,500 feet, depending on where we're crossing them. When you're flying VFR and you're more than 3,000 feet above the ground, there's rules as to what direction, what altitudes you fly at for what direction. The purpose of it is so that we don't get 2 people coming nose to nose on, on opposite headings. So decisions you have to make. Okay, estimated time of departure, that's what the ETD is. And it's in Zulu time. What is Zulu time? Is that like, I'm sorry. I have to go for sensitivity training again, I'm sorry. What is Zulu? Anybody know what Zulu time is?
No.
Well,
Same time for everybody.
same thing. Well, actually, all the time zones have a designation. I forgot what Eastern time zone is. But they start at A or Alpha, B, Bravo, and then as you go around the world, each time zone has a letter. And then the one through Greenwich, England, is designated as Zulu. Okay, or Z. Z is just because it's just the way we say Z. We don't say Z, we say Zulu. So everybody uses, because airplanes can go all over the place. So if I use Eastern time and he's flying to Chicago, that's going to be a problem because, are you talking Eastern time or are you going to be landing that time, so it becomes interesting. So we use, everybody flying uses the Zulu time. Okay? Why do we use Zulu time? Again,
So it's the same for everyone.
same for everybody, keeps us out of. We're gonna leave, let's plan, we're gonna leave at 1 o'clock today on this trip. Okay?
Or our,
What? Well, not, 1 o'clock our time.
okay.
So what time is that Zulu time? So why do we, first of all, what's the difference between regular time and military time? We're gonna leave 1 PM, right? So why don't we write just write down 1 PM? Because people,
Could be AM or PM.
so what, if I, 1 PM, 1 AM, that's just extra numbers you got to put in there. So what is 1 PM in quote unquote military time?
13.
1,300 hours, right?
Yeah.
In fact, you go to Europe, I think a lot of Europe still runs on the 24-hour clock. They don't worry about AM, PM stuff. So we're gonna leave 1 PM, which is 1,300. Now to convert it to Greenwich Mean Time or Zulu time, we have to add
5 hours.
5 hours.
That depends on where you live, where you're taking off from.
Sure.
Right, no, in the Eastern time zone,
Right.
we're 5 hours, right. Every time zone, you have to make the correction, right? You have to know that. And what else does it depend? What happens in June when you do this? If we left 1 o'clock, if we left
4
1
hours.
PM, yeah, when the time changes, it doesn't change. So it'll be 4 hours in the summer and 5 in the winter. So what's our estimated ETD, estimated time of departure? What's our estimated time of departure?
1800 Z.
Okay? 1,800. And how much time is it gonna be en route? ETE, estimated time en route. What do we come up with?
2 hours, 15.
Okay, so, and they wanna know 2 hours, 10 minutes. And that should be all he needs to give us a weather briefing.
Lockheed Martin for service.
Good morning. I have you on the speakerphone. We're doing a training session, and we're gonna get a weather briefing for a VFR flight, okay? So
All right.
we're gonna assume this is a student pilot VFR flight, tail number 20891. It's a Cessna 172 slant uniform. We're departing Morristown, Mike Oscar Romeo, and we're going direct to Columbia, Georgia, Charlie Sierra Golf at 8,500 feet. Expect to leave 1,800 Zulu and 2 hours and 10 minutes en route.
You said 1,800 Zulu
Yes,
and 2 hours and 10 minutes en route.
that's affirmative.
All right. Well, across this route, VFR flight is not recommended. As far as your synopsis goes, you're kind of parallel on a funnel system moving through the area. Low pressure loft with a westerly, southwesterly flow. Air mass is fairly moist out there today. And a little bit of instability in the air. Adverse conditions from departure, like basically up around Lee County northward, there's an MF for IFR due to mist ending 17 to 18 Zulu. From departure airport all the way down to the North Carolina border, you're flying through and then you parallel an MF for mountain obscurement due to clouds and precipitation that goes through 0300 Zulu route. And showing visibilities 10 miles. At a special observation for Charlie Sierra Golf, wind 270 at 7, visibility 10, 1,900 scattered, temperature 14, dew point 9, altimeter 2988. En route forecast today showing, let's see, for this will be your en route forecast off the area forecast departing Tennessee. I have Eastern Tennessee. Looks like 3,000 overcast to broken. Becoming 17 to 2000 Zulu, 5,000 to 6,000 broken. North Carolina, the little corner that you clipped. I have the 8,000 broken tops, 10,000 across the mountains of North Carolina. Now getting into Georgia, northern Georgia, it looks like 4,000 broken. After 20Z, 10,000 scattered. Northwestern Georgia, no, northeastern Georgia, northwestern Georgia has, for your time frame, 3,000 broken. After 20Z, 10,000 scattered. The remainder of Georgia has 5,000 broken. And let's see NOTAM up there. Details on request. Destination area has DOR out of service. And the remote com outlet 122.65 and 255.4 out of service. And do you need any FDC NOTAMs?
No, that'll be good. We're
Do you
fine.
need anything else at this time? Any other NOTAMs?
No, that sounds pretty good, thank you.
All right, so top ports are requested for additional other flight service. Flight watch is no longer available. We appreciate your call and have a good day.
Thank you very much.
Take care.
Cool, was everybody able to hear that? And that was kind of interesting, because, you know, and they start out by saying, you know, VFR not recommended, but yet there was some interesting numbers, that they were showing some ceilings with 3,000 to 5,000, so you gotta take a hard look at it. The one mistake people make, and, you know, with with the electronic weather, is you can get terminal area forecasts for like McGee, Tyson, Atlanta, but the terminal area forecasts are only good for 5 miles, basically, around the airport. So you might get some really good reports right around the airport, but in between there, it might all go to mush. So you gotta, that's why it's really good to talk to a briefer, especially when you're a student pilot or a young pilot, because they will give you the big picture and you're getting a lot of detailed information.